Today's topic is multiplying integers, and we have a few basic rules for multiplying and dividing integers, which are signed numbers, signed whole numbers. We're going to start with the first rule. A negative times a negative equals a positive. A negative times a positive equals a negative. A positive times a positive equals a positive. And a positive times a negative equals a negative. Basically, if you're multiplying two numbers together and they both have the same sign, the answer is positive. If you're multiplying two numbers together and the signs are different, the answer is negative. We have really similar rules for dividing. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Same idea as before. If you're dividing two numbers, if the signs of those numbers are the same, the answer is positive. If the signs of the numbers are different, the answer is negative. Let's see how this actually works. Let's look at some examples here. Let's say we have negative 5 times 3. So we have a negative times a positive. Well, that answer will be negative, and 5 times 3 is 15. So our answer is negative 15. Now this next problem, negative 7 times 5 times 2. Take these two at a time and go from left to right. Negative 7 times positive 5. A negative times a positive is a negative, and 7 times 5 is 35. So we have negative 35, but then we have to say times 2. Negative 35 times 2 gives you a negative 70. Now you might be noticing I've set these problems up with parentheses. If you have parentheses right next to each other like this and no sign in between them, that means multiplication. You can also use a multiplication symbol like what I've listed here above, or you can use a dot to represent multiplication. Let's move on. We have negative 42 divided by 2. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 42 divided by 2 is 21. So we get negative 21. Next, we have negative 60 divided by negative 5. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and if you want to put a little plus there, you can. You don't have to. Negative 60 divided by negative 5. Well, 60 divided by 5 is 12. So we end up with positive 12. Let's move on to our last two problems. We have 15 over negative 3 plus negative 14 over negative 2. According to our order of operations, we have to do the division first. So 15 divided by negative 3, a positive divided by a negative gives you a negative, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So we get negative 5. Negative 14 divided by negative 2, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we get positive 7. And we have to bring down the plus sign right here. So we have negative 5 plus 7, which gives us positive 2. Our last problem is negative 2 times 7 plus negative 1 times negative 5, all divided by 3. We need to work with the numerator first. We have two multiplication problems. This is negative 2 times 7. If you want to put a little dot in between those parentheses, go ahead, if that helps you to remember it, and also between the negative 1 and the negative 5. So let's do the multiplication first. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Negative 1 times negative 5 gives you positive 5. and we'll put the plus sign in between them, and the 3 goes in the denominator. We're still working in the numerator. We need to finish that first. Negative 14 plus 5 gives us negative 9. So we have negative 9 over 3, or in other words, negative 9 divided by positive 3. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we end up with negative 3. That's all for today. Thank you for joining me.